my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and these are the hottest Golden Age comics for the week. We're going to start out with number 10, Ken Murray's Blackouts number 1. This is from Dave W. Siegel, 1947. It features the artwork of Earl Moran, and just a really interesting book. It's like a pamphlet that was given out during concerts for a whole bunch of celebrities that would have been in the 40s, that would have come and entertained. This is considered a classic pulp, but it features the cover with Marilyn Monroe. So it's one of those cool collectibles, really great cover. And this was an 8.0 that sold, and it sold for $416.22. Now, 8.0 for this book is actually the top of the census. This is not a super rare book, but it's hard to find it in these high grades because of the black cover. Really hard to find. There's only 2 of them on the census actually. One is a 7.5 and one is an 8.0. Now, this is the only sale for this copy, so there's no previous records to go by. Typically, though, in the lower grades, you can pick this book up for around 15 in really low grade, like a 2.0, to maybe $30 in a 5. So that's kind of the price range. So for this 8 to sell for 400, it really shows you that premium on those higher graded copies. Generally, you would expect maybe $100, $200 more, but basically this is double that. So this is a very strong sale for this book. As I said, there's only 2 on the census, but it has a really cool cover with Marilyn Monroe. Number 9 on the list is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 46. This is from Dell, 1944. It features the artwork of Walt Kelly, and it's the classic Donald Duck as Uncle Sam selling war bonds. Such a classic cover for the Second World War. It also features inside a Disney war insignias section. So just like a whole bunch of key elements that really kind of cater to the World War II collector. Now, this was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for best offer, and I'm not sure what the price is. I have to put a little asterisk by this one, but the original listed price was $5.85, so I'm not sure what it actually sold for, but it probably sold for above what the previous record. I don't know if they would accept a lower offer than the previous record. The previous record was set back in December of 2021 for $476. So as long as it's above that, it's a new record. I don't know what it sold for. But it is a cool book. It's a classic war bond cover. There's 55 of these on the census, and 52 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Weird Science number 14, also known as Weird Science number 3, because Weird Science is one of those titles where it was called something previously and then they changed it to Weird Science. This is from EC Comics, 1950. It features the artwork of Al Feldstein, and it's a really cool cover. It's a robot cover, and Al Feldstein did a bunch of really great robot covers, but this one features like the aftermath of an atomic war, and the robots are kind of checking out the Earth, and they're like, oh, there's no life on this planet. So it's just a really cool dark cover, dark humor, I guess. This was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $921. The previous record for this book was set back in 2019 for $600. So it's up like $300 from the prior record. Just a very strong sale for a very cool Al Feldstein cover. There's 90 of these on the census, and 84 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Daredevil Battles Hitler, #1. Now this is from Lee Gleason, 1941. It features the artwork of Charles Biro and Bob Wood. Now this is actually kind of a major book for many, many reasons. It is actually, I believe, the first appearance of the Claw and Daredevil. Not the Daredevil from Marvel, but this is the Daredevil from Lee Gleason. But Daredevil from Lee Gleason had a pretty long run, and the title actually changes to Daredevil in issue #2. This was an interesting sale because this is a classic cover, a classic Hitler cover, and that's all you get. This was a pure cover. It was like no interior, just a cover. And the cover sold for $977 at auction. So just a really strong sale for a classic Hitler cover. Now this is the only sale for this cover by itself that's actually certified. It's a graded cover. But there have been other variants in these low grades. So there's coverless copies that sell for around $700. So you can buy just the whole book without the cover for cheaper than it is to buy the cover by itself. The last sale for the coverless was back in 2020 for $700, as I said. There's even a 0.5 restored book that sold in May of 2020 for $1,111. So you can get the cover and most of the interior, I think it was missing the centerfold, for almost the same price as just the cover now. So that says a lot. If you really want the complete book, but at the very lowest grade, well, that sells for around $2,800. The last sale for 1.0 was back in 2018 for $2,850. So, so maybe you got to buy the cover and then the coverless one. Put them together, and you'll make like a few $100s. So I'm not sure if it works that well, but worth the effort. Very cool book, very cool cover, classic Hitler cover. There are 99 of these on the census, and 71 of them are Universal Blue Labels. #6 on the list is All Top Comics #12. This is from Fox, 1948. It features the artwork of Jack Kamen. Now, you can tell that it's Jack Kamen if you just look at it, because there are a few telltale signs that it is Jack Kamen's artwork. My friend Steve Gettner, he was the one that actually told me about these, and ever since I'm like, oh, that's Jack Kamen. And now you can do this too, because all you have to do is, if you see his typical jungle covers, usually somebody's carrying a knife. It's a thing. They're carrying a knife, and the knife blade is curved. If it's got a curved blade, it's usually a Jack Kamen. If it's a straight blade, it's usually a Matt Baker. Also, you can look at the animals' faces. If it's a Kamen cover, generally they have almost like human-like faces, and that's another telltale sign that it is a Jack Kamen cover. So this is a great Rula cover, and it features those elements. So this was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,095. This is a huge sale. I have to say, this is a massive sale for this book, because the previous record for this book was set back in September of 2023 for $432. So this is up 150% from the prior record. Even a 7.0 just recently sold for $489 in March of 2024. So this is, as I said, a massive sale for a very cool book, but just a huge, huge sale. There are 41 of these on the census, and 39 of them are Universal Blue Labels. #5 on the list is Little Dot #2. This is from Harvey Comics, 1953. It's a Little Lotta and Richie Rich has those in the interior. Now, it's actually their second appearances. Little Dot number 1, which is actually right there, is actually their first appearances, but this is their second appearances. So it's actually a pretty major key for Richie Rich collectors. This was an 8.5 file copy that sold, and it sold for $1,139. Now this is a bit down. This is actually on the, like, we've had pretty strong sales up till this one. This is down. The previous record for this book was set back in 2013 for $1,553.50. So this is actually down about 50% from that, well, 30 some odd percent from that previous record set like 10 years ago. Really weak. This book has been actually pretty weak for a while, but not that weak. There was actually a 5.5 that recently sold in 2017, so a little more recent, I should say. This one doesn't sell that often. It's a pretty hard book to find. Well, the 5.5 sold for $980. So that's kind of comparable to that 2013 sale for the 8.5. Just there, and there's no real other sales to compare. So this book doesn't sell that often, but whoever picked this up, I think this was a steal. I think somebody got just a really great price on it. I don't think people, because it hasn't sold for a while, it's one of those ones where people might not catch, oh, this is actually a pretty good price. Somebody just got a great deal on it. There are 18 of these on the census, and 17 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Top Love Stories number 17 from Star Publications, 1954. This is an L.B. Cole cover, and L.B. Cole was the one that owned Star. This is a great romance cover, and it has, in quotes, in a hurry for love, whatever that means. It's like very strong embrace and in a hurry for love. So just a cute cover in a way. One of the things that's always interesting about L.B. Cole's romance covers, I don't know why he does this. He actually does it on a few of his other covers, and I never understood this, is you'll have like some like moon or something, some object in the picture, and then he'll write all over it in terms of like some intro text, and the writing is so small that I don't know who could read it. Even if you had perfect eyes, it'd be actually quite hard to read. You get a little magnifying glass and just read all this text. I don't know why he does that. It's always like, you'll see it on this cover, like look at the moon and all the little writing. It's like this big long paragraph of text that nobody can possibly read. It's the weirdest thing. I love L.B. Cole's artwork, but I don't know why he does that. So this was a 5.5 that sold, and it sold for $950. This is actually the highest graded copy. A 5.5 is the highest graded copy, and it's only sale in that grade. Now, how does that compare to other graded copies that sold? There was a 4.0 that sold in September of 2021 for $504. Now, because this is the highest graded copy, you kind of expect that to be a bit of a doubling effect. So it's sort of like when you get a 9.6 compared to a 9.8 in the modern books. Well, usually you get a bit of a doubling effect between those two grades. And this is kind of the case in this one, where even though it's like a low grade, like a 5.5 is considered mid-grade, right? You still get that kind of doubling effect. So this is kind of in line to what you would expect a 5.5 to sell for, because it's the highest graded copy. And now if a 6 comes out, it's going to kill the price. But for now, this is the highest graded copy. There's only 6 of these on the census, and 5 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Captain Marvel Jr. number 115. This is from Faucet, 1952. It features Bud Thompson as the artist, and is just a classic cover. This is probably one of the best Captain Marvel Jr. covers of all. It is the eye popper. It's like this. It's pre-code horror in terms of the cover. It's got eyes like popping out of the sockets with all the eye goo, and it's just like really over the top. Really great cover. And it's one that has been underrated for the longest time. Underrated. I've seen these actually sell for a few $100s. You compare it to pre-code horror stuff that's like 10 times more. I always felt like this one was underrated, but this sale maybe puts it back in line because this was a 5.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,280, which is a strong sale because the previous record for this book was set back in March of 2022 for $1,013. So maybe people are showing this book some love. It's up a couple $100, 20% from that prior record. So great sale for a great cover. There are 53 of these on the census, and 52 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is All-Star Comics number 4. This is from DC Comics 1941. It is E. Hibbard cover, and it is the first time you get the JSA, the Justice Society of America, and they're going on a quest, like a little adventure together. So the idea is in All-Star number 3, you get the JSA forming. They form as a group, and they have like a little supper, like a little meeting at the table together. But this is the first time you actually get to see them in action. And that's, to me, a major key for these Golden Age teams. So really major book. This was a 6.0 that sold, and it sold for $4,000. Now this is a massive sale as well because the previous record for this book was set back in December of 2022 for $2,520. So it's up almost double, not quite double, from that like 40%, I don't know, math. Okay, it's up considerably from that prior record. Really strong sale. As I said, this is a major key, maybe a little bit under the radar major key for DC, but just really strong sale. There was 129 of these on the census, and 96 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list actually was a tie with number 2 in terms of price, but we'll get into that. It's Uncle Scrooge number 1, or 4-color 386. This is from Dell, 1952, and it features the artwork story by Carl Barks. So Carl Barks is considered the duck, the duck man, the duck artist for Disney, the good duck artist, they called him. He is the quintessential Uncle Scrooge creator and artist. And this features a very classic cover for Uncle Scrooge, where he is rowing through the pools of money that he has. Just a really cool Uncle Scrooge cover, and it features the story of Carl Barks, so it's going to be a cool story inside as well. So just an awesome book. This was a really nice copy. It was a 9.2 that sold, and it sold for $4,000, so the same as the All-Star 4. But this is really down. This book has crashed. Kind of sad, actually, because the previous record for this book was set back in August of 2017 for $13,145. So this is down a third of what it had sold for in the past. Just a massive discount. I don't know, like fire sale. I don't know. It was just somebody got a steal on this one. Now this book hasn't really been performing that well since that big record. Even the last sale before this sale was a weak sale, where in June of 2024, this book sold for $6,300. So it's just been on a downward slide ever since that massive sale. I'm not sure why. It's a really, really cool book. But this is actually one of the more common books for the Golden Age. Uncle Scrooge, or four color massively printed books, and a lot of them actually survived the Golden Age. And as a result, like we were talking about the census on some of these other books, and they were like the most was like 99. Well, this book has 597 on the census, and 577 of them are universal blue labels. So this is for the Golden Age, a very common book. And I think that might come into play why the price is down. It's very sad to see, because I love Uncle Scrooge. It's a great book, but it is definitely down from that massive record set back in 2017. So what did you think about this list? What do you think about Uncle Scrooge being down so much? I guess he's not the money man that he used to be. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list. Bye for now.